Click the bell icon to get latest videos from EKeeda.
Hello friends, in the previous lecture we have got to know about what is emulsion and what are the types of emulsion. And now we are going to talk about how the emulsion is being prepared. So let us talk about it. So talking about emulsion, emulsion is basically it is made up of the two, that is, immiscible liquids. And since we have talked about earlier only that they have two types, that is oil in water and water in oil. So these two liquids are basically immiscible with each other. So what we have to do is we have to mix these two liquids vigorously, and because then only it will be formed, that is an emulsion will be formed. But it has been noted that this kind of emulsion or this kind of that is colloidal solution that has been formed, it is basically lyophobic, or the colloidal particles that are been formed in this case is basically lyophobic in nature and hence they are very unstable. So for that we need a third substance so that we could add in it, so that we could make it not only we can convert it from lyophobic to lyophilic, but we have to convert it into a stable form also. So that kind of substance that we add in this kind of emulsion is basically known as emulsifier, or we could call it as emulsifying agent. So that emulsifying agent can be basically can be soap also, can be detergent also, or can be different chemicals, so that it could make a protective layer on that is on the colloidal particles, so that a kind of a stable product or a kind of stable particle would be formed, and not only they will turn the lyophobic nature of the colloidal particle to lyophilic, but they will also be helpful in basically making the colloidal particle that are because of the emulsifying agent that they represent, so they could make the product or the colloidal particle to be more stable also. And that is how the emulsion is being prepared. So in actual practice, since we have got to know that the emulsion is basically lyophobic in nature when we prepare in that case. So the thing that we do is we add the emulsifying agent in the dispersed medium first. So that dispersed medium can be oil also, can be water also. So that dispersed medium is now when we have added the that is emulsifying agent or emulsifier. So they protect it and they that is interact with the dispersed medium, and then we can add slowly the dispersed phase, and then we could see that the solution that we have got, that is a colloidal solution, that is we are talking about the emulsion, that would be a bit stable. So this is how we can prepare the emulsion. So now, so the emulsion is being prepared, but how can we differentiate that which type of emulsion it is? So let me give an example. So there are various methods to determine that which kind of emulsion it is. So suppose if we have that is oil in water, so emulsion of oil in water, that is what we have. And suppose in that case, if we have added oil, so therefore we understood that since the oil is basically the dispersed phase, and the water is basically the dispersed medium. So here how we have understood that how that is the emulsion is being prepared. But there are also some criteria from which we could determine that which type of the emulsion that is we are talking about. For example, if we are adding that is oil in an emulsion where which we don't know, suppose if that could be an oil in water emulsion or water in oil emulsion. So suppose if we are adding oil in a particular emulsion, so if the oil gets miscible in that emulsion, then we could say that the emulsion was basically water in oil emulsion, because since even though we are increasing the quantity of oil when we are adding, so since the dispersed medium was oil, so that makes the added oil to be miscible with the solution or with the colloidal solution, and hence that is an example of that is emulsion of water in oil. So suppose if we are adding water in a particular that is emulsion, for which we don't know that it is oil in water or water in oil emulsion. So suppose if we are adding water in the emulsion where the water gets miscible, so this indicates that the emulsion in which we have added the water, that is an example of emulsion of oil in water, because of the water was acting like a dispersed medium, and even though by adding water the water gets dissolved or the water gets miscible. So this is an example from where we could detect whether it is an oil in water emulsion or water in oil emulsion. So this is the criteria by adding this thing we could easily determine. So talking about the second one, that is suppose if we have a particular emulsion and from which we have to determine the conductivity. Suppose if it is water, Suppose if it is water in oil emulsion, then the conductivity of the emulsion will be very much less. So therefore we could easily determine that the oil is basically acting as a dispersed medium, and that's the reason that the conductivity is very much low. But what if we have a sample, or we have an emulsion through which the conductivity, if we have passed the laticity and we have got to know that the conductivity is very much high. So in that case, we could easily say that that kind of solution, or that kind of the sample is basically nothing but the example of oil in water emulsion. So this is how by conductivity also, or by adding the oil and water, we could easily determine whether which of the that is emulsion it is. So from this, we have not only got to know that how can we prepare, but we have also got to know about how can we determine that which type of example or which kind of emulsion it is. So that's it. That is what I want to talk about. So thank you friends for watching this video. I hope you have understood this video very clearly and will share this video with a friend. Hope so. So share this video with your friends, and just don't forget to subscribe EKeeda channel. Thank you so much.